What happened in practice for the Dutch Grand Prix? Right, let's get into the big news then, shall we? And it has to be spoken about. Daniel Ricciardo out of the Dutch Grand Prix after a crash in free practice 2, which was kind of caused by Oscar Piastri making that mistake in the bank. I say the banked corner, there are a couple of bank corners, but the biggest banking of corner, turn 3, I believe it is, yes. Yep. And it's gutting. I'm absolutely gutted for him. It's one of those that he's just so unlucky. Just having a hand on the wheel like that. Obviously, drivers are supposed to take their hands off the wheel before they have a crash, but it wasn't even a big impact. It was just the way in which his steering wheel snapped slightly, which was awkward for his wrist, and now he's out.
Can't quite believe it. I mean, yeah, he was coming around the corner of the banking, completely got caught out by Piastri being there. I think he was going to go for a wider line. And yeah, speared into the wall. And of course, P1 curse and all that, but it's gutting, and we can't even joke about it because he's seriously injured his wrist. Obviously, at first, we saw him in the wall, and our first reaction was, I can't believe it's the 2 drivers that we've just interviewed. But now, it's quite clear that it's a very serious thing, and we're gutted that Danny Rick is not going to be racing because he's only just come back as well.
Yeah, just come back, had summer break. He's revitalised. He's been training physically for this. We spoke to him, and he seemed really, energised and ready to go again. And now he's out. And not just this, I'm actually a little bit worried with how this is now going to unfold the rest of potential driver markets and changes and so on and so forth, because it's giving an amazing opportunity to Liam Lawson.
Sure is. Yeah, I mean, Liam Lawson, we spoke about, didn't we, when Daniel Ricciardo first got put in the car instead of Nick de Vries, and we were like, Liam Lawson must be absolutely gutted, thinking, when is my time going to come? And he wouldn't have expected it to happen now, but yeah, it's going to be very tough for him, but it's also an amazing opportunity to drive in a Formula 1 race.
Yeah, certainly. So he's had a bit of experience in a Formula 1 car, but not exactly a huge amount to write home about. But Liam Lawson did a young driver test for AlphaTauri in Abu Dhabi in 2021. In 22, last year, he had a free practice in Belgium, Mexico City, and then had his Red Bull debut in Abu Dhabi free practice. Not that he was allowed to really go that quick, from what I remember. And then did the young drivers test for Abu Dhabi, for Red Bull in Abu Dhabi as well. So he's got a little bit of experience in a Formula 1 car, but actually participating in a Formula 1 weekend, especially when you've missed the first 2 sessions, I think just him finishing is a good start.
I'm not expecting much from him, and that's no disrespect to him, but he's driving the worst car on the grid. He's not done Friday running, and yeah, he's not going to have all that data, and to ease himself into the weekend, he's going to go, drive that car in a session in FP3 tomorrow. Might even be wet, who knows? So you can't anymore thrown in the deep end, really. And maybe actually it's good for him that there will be no pressure, because AlphaTauri is pressure. Look what happened to de Vries. But now he can actually have his F1 debut, where I think a lot of people will think he will probably finish last, qualify last, and that's okay because you kind of expect it. So maybe that might actually help him, because the expectation is so low that if he does anything, people will be like, oh, Liam Lawson's done a good job.
Question from Kabir Dingra 6. Do you think Liam Lawson will be able to perform at the same level as Daniel or Yuki in the AlphaTauri? My opinion is no. I don't think he'll be close.
Not straight away, no chance.
He's got 1 practice session, which by the looks of the weather forecast might be wet, which means he'll have potentially no dry running going into qualifying, which should be dry from at least the forecast at the moment. But I don't think he'll be miles off. My estimate is maybe 7-8 tenths. It's a short track. Was it 1:11s? I think they were doing at the end. So it's not going to be a gargantuan 2-3 seconds, I don't think. But it doesn't matter.
It's really hard to know. But yeah, like you say, like we're saying, there's not the pressure on him, so it's not expected. It's not expected of him. So we'll see how long Daniel Ricciardo is out for. You've got to think that surely if he's broken his wrist, he's missing Monza as well. When it gets to Monza, then you feel like, okay, I mean, if he beats Yuki Tsunoda in Monza. I don't think it's going to happen at all, but just theoretically, if he did, my word, is that given a headache for the whole Red Bull ladder, I think.
Yeah.
Because it will change the whole dynamic again.
Oh, I mean, it's heartbreaking for him, who's, you know, he's rolled the dice, he's come back, and he's had the worst luck ever.
You just couldn't make it up that, yeah, of all the drivers it's happened to, it's the guy that's taken, some would say, a risk to, yeah, return and go, yeah, all right, I'll take this drive and get myself back into Formula One. And he's done 2 races and now he's on the sidelines again.
I'm really concerned, Tommy, I'm not going to lie to you, mate. Really concerned, because if Liam Lawson does come out the blocks firing, we know Red Bull will make decisions very quickly. Question from Hasta La Vista 8. Do you think there could be a chance a more experienced driver could come in to replace Danny Ric for the next few races until his wrist heals? I'm thinking Vettel. No. Liam Lawson is going to obviously replace him this weekend, and I see no reason other than Liam Lawson, unless he crashes 800 times between now and the end of Zandvoort. There's no reason. Vettel, like, out of everyone, for Vettel to come back after obviously saying everything about the environment and how he felt like a hypocrite, and he's sort of moving away from Formula One in a lot of respects, to then be like, yeah, no, I'll drive the worst car on the grid around Zandvoort. No problem, I'll be there, no matter what.
If this did happen, even if it's like, oh, Lawson's a quick replacement and they think about someone else later, also no, because Lawson would be absolutely fuming, and you've got to think, like, he's been very patient, and now he's got his chance, and surely, you know, it's his.
Let's now move away from Daniel Ricciardo and Liam Lawson before I start crying, and just talk about free practice 1. Hulkenberg went off, caused a red flag, which just has things, really. You know, it wasn't much to really write home about with that, was it? It wasn't the most crazy thing ever. It was just in the gravel. But it's funny how, you know, I think it was it Ocon re-signed for Alpine, then had horrendous time a few years ago, and then it just reminds me of that. Like, oh, yeah. Both Haas drivers announced. Hulkenberg's like, that gravel looked tasty. Let's talk about FP2 now, because not much really happened in FP1. And Lando Norris, fastest by 23 thousandths, and giving us all hope that perhaps we might get an interesting qualifying again. And I don't want to talk about it, but I'm just going to headline it straight up. Like, Ferrari looked bad. Looked
really bad.
Really not great, huh?
It's only Friday, I guess.
It's only Friday. They might bounce back.
Maybe they went for a wet setup and they're going to, it's a master plan, and tomorrow they're 1-2 in the wet.
That sounds like a bit of copium from my side. So thank you, Tommy, for bringing that to life. But let's go back to Lando Norris. I mean, that is a huge lap that he put in there. Oscar was looking amazing as well until he pushed a little bit too hard on his hard tyres, lost the car at the banking, and obviously we've spoken about what happened there. But McLaren again, looking saucy. Yeah,
so far I'm not going to get too smug yet, because you never know what's going to happen. But
how can you not get smug? You've predicted Lando top 3 and you're a Max fan. You don't lose in this situation.
But no, Lando's looking very good. And you know, we've spoken to a lot of people actually around Zandvoort. It's been really nice to chat. And one thing I'm sure you've noticed as well, everyone always, particularly now at P1, everyone always asks our predictions. They're like, oh, predictions, I saw you did this. And yeah, a couple of people were like, why have you predicted McLaren shouldn't be good here? But that whole Hungary, thought they were going to be bad, were really good. And look, Lando is driving incredibly well. They're looking good around here. So yeah, McLaren fans can be very happy.
And another fan base that can come out of the bushes is Williams again. Alex Albon, P3 in FP2, and I'm not going to get too excited because I think they looked amazing at Silverstone. Then they had a wet quali, and then they were horrendous. So you better pray, if you're a Williams fan, to not have any rain. But in the dry, they were great. Logan Sargent was top of the timesheets at a couple of different points, I think, and you thought for a second Logie Sarge actually could become champion of the world this year.
Yeah, Williams looking good. It's almost not surprising, but the fact that Williams are up there, it's so good to see that they're not just this useless team at the back that are always last. Like, I will admit I was wrong that I thought they might be this year. Yeah, looking very good for Williams indeed.
Yeah, we had 6 different teams in the top 6 in free practice 2. I'll absolutely take that.
Yuki was up there as well, wasn't he?
Yeah,
which is quite impressive.
Yuki Tsunoda up in 5th, only 3 tenths, nearly 4 tenths off Lando, which makes me think Max Verstappen has at least another half a second in that car in P2. And I guess that was what we can finish on. Max Verstappen, is he still the favourite to win?
Surely. Yeah, yeah. You wouldn't.
We get baited every time, don't we?
We do get baited every time, but I do genuinely think qualifying could be incredibly close.
Qualifying,
like,
and we get baited.
But you know, if it's a close quali and Max doesn't quite make it, it's a difficult. It's a difficult.
Has an off day.
An off day?
No.
Does it exist?
Around Zandvoort, I don't think it does exist.
Yeah.
I think that's the one day that he will absolutely turn up.
No, I think it will be an exciting quali. A track like this, it is close, can be small margins. So yeah, I'm excited for qualifying, gutted for Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, I think that's one way to end this. Our thoughts go to Danny Rick, and we really wish him a speedy recovery. We, of course, also wish Liam Lawson the best of luck of jumping into the car tomorrow. And also thank you to all of you that have said hello to us so far this weekend. We love each and every one of you massively. Thank you for allowing us to do this and come to Zandvoort and live out our dreams as Formula 1 fans. Right, we'll see you tomorrow to reflect on qualifying. Bye!
Bye!